already. One Shamrock Shake coming up.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with, the Leprechaun himself. The fact that we have talked to so many people that have like donned those masks or whatever held the chainsaw of these like horror icons is so special. And Lyndon was great to talk to, man. Still so young. He's been acting since he was 6 years old. We talked about working with the Wayans brothers on Little Man. Great stories about being 9 years old and hanging out with them and being able to pitch ideas to them on set, and they would accept it. And then, of course, the fact that he went from being like a body double in Cult of Chucky, and within 365 days, he becomes the Leprechaun, the voice of it, embody the character. Man, so good. And man, Leprechaun Returns. Whew, I'm so excited to talk about this movie. And before I count my lucky charms, is that something? Or I don't know. One of those, I would try a limerick like he does throughout the movie, which they're all really good. Just like the Warwick Davis in the original movies. Every one is so funny. I wish I could pop one off right now. I can't, but I'm just going to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you doing?
Good. I was hoping when you looked over to the right, you had a limerick written down.
You know what? And I, as you were saying that, I'm thinking in my head, all right, let me come out with one. And I was rhyming in my head. I'm like, you know what? It's going to sound much better in my head than saying it. So I'm like, you know what? I better not say it. So, all right. So this is my first Leprechaun I watched.
This is your first one ever? You never saw the original with Jennifer Aniston and
I
Mark
saw
Holton?
clips, I think. I saw clips and never saw Leprechaun. So I'm gonna give you the good and then the bad. All right. Okay. So the good for this movie, I think Lyndon did a great job. I think he sounded great. I think he just he played a leprechaun. Now I can't compare him to Warwick Davis, and I know he's got that following, and I know he was the leprechaun in all the movies. But without seeing Warwick Davis, I think Lyndon did a great job. So I give him a lot of credit, and he was probably the best actor in the whole movie. Outside of Chubby or Chubbs.
Mark Holton, yeah.
Mark Holton, okay. Mark Holton, I think, did a great job in the beginning. Like, he really, he went all out. The second positive, I would say, is the special effects for the kills. Oh. I think the kills were great. I do have a lot of questions about the kills. Okay. But the special effects I thought were great. Now, I'm going to go with the bad. I think the movie's terrible. What? And I think the acting is horrendous in this movie. Wow. Outside of Chubby and Lyndon, the girls, the guys, the movie is the plot. The acting is awful. Okay, so there's a couple positives, and I'm surprised that the special effects are as good as they are based on the movie itself, because like it doesn't match. Like the way the acting was and the plot of the movie, you would think like, all right, the whole movie's gonna be cheesy. But the special effects really upped it up a little bit, up the ante.
All right, well, wow, this is. I'm not that I'm shocked that you didn't not like you're a big horror fan. I have to say something. I saw clips of this before I talked with Lyndon. So I wanted to make sure, like, hey, you know what? Let me make sure that see him portray the character, be able to ask him questions about it. But for being a sci-fi movie, this movie was like too good for being a sci-fi. This might be my new favorite of the franchise out of the sequels. Okay. This movie, I honestly really enjoyed. We could talk about the plot. The plot was so silly, like ridiculously silly. But I think this goes to the whole thing of think of Lethal Weapon 3. In a sense, you have the main characters, and then what's the plot? Oh man, those friggin' development guys are bad guys. This is the whole setup of this whole movie is what's in 2018. It's all about global warming, which we get jokes about that. We get green energy. We get all of these different things. That's the whole
and we also get some old school jokes that makes not a joke. Like there's a scene in this movie that is so like the trend of it is so old. I don't know why they threw it in there. But you know, you have to take away, you said, I don't like horror movies. You know, I'm watching, I do like some. I don't consider this a horror movie. Like this.
Oh no, I think this is more of a yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't even think it was funny. I mean, but I think, like, first of all, these girls really, like, their reaction to these kills are so ridiculous. Like, they show no emotion. You know, they'll show like
the comedy of it. I think that's the comedy of it. I think that's the silliness of it. When no joke, if you watch the second one, which I like the second one, I like the third one. Space is ridiculous. And then you have the two Lep in the Hood ones, which are so ridiculous.
But he goes to the Hood twice?
I think he goes to the Hood twice. I think he goes to the Hood, he leaves, comes back, and goes to the Hood again. I think so. But my point about this is, when you look at those old movies and you look at any 80s horror movies, there's sometimes actors that you could say these actors aren't good. That's your opinion. But when I think of like the other movies and the way people act, when I watch this movie, the main girl in this movie, does she have corny lines? Yes. But I'm like, oh my God, for a sci-fi movie, it was the editing. There were so many parts of this movie that it flowed well, and it was the perfect runtime. It was 90 minutes. That's what you want when you watch a horror movie.
No. It was not the perfect runtime. The perfect runtime would be about 20 minutes. Okay, to watch this whole movie. And the acting in this movie is like Sharknado acting. Like, it really, and which makes sense because they're both sci-fi movies. Yeah. But I don't think the acting was good. And if that was part of the comedy, then you're telling me the bad acting was also part of the comedy?
Well, me personally, I think they were. I'm not saying they were great actors, but for me, that's one thing I wasn't worried about throughout the movie. And it was great because the Leprechaun was featured a lot in this movie. Not saying the other movies don't have Warwick a lot, but in this, it just seemed like he had a lot of lines. And man, it was so good.
No, like I said, he was great. I did like him. You know, I liked the way he looked. You know, just the way he moved. In the beginning, he does this jump where he kicks his feet to the side. I loved it. Like, that was good. And like I said, the special effects for what this movie was great. Like, I mean, like, really good special effects. It just, I don't know if it's worth the acting and just again, the plot. There's so many holes in this movie that just, okay, let's just get into it.
Well, let's fill in those holes with a shovel. But before we start, 2 orders of business. One is, I know a couple of listeners already purchased Larry Hankin's book that I helped him put together, which is so awesome. So if you love movies about Hollywood, comedy, improv, you know, really just a life of being like that guy, A Cautionary Memoir is the name of the book. But man, just Larry, 200 plus credits, and his stories before that, opening up for Miles Davis, the Kinkinson Trio, writing a movie for Bob Dylan and the band. So much cool stuff in there. I'll put the link in the episode notes. Thanks to, I know Rob Schnitzer and a couple of people bought it, so thank you so much. And another thing, me and Jamie were talking about it because there's so many sequels that we want to do. Obviously, we don't have the gravitas in Hollywood yet. But it's not like we can't reach out to like Tom Cruise and call him and be like, hey man, we want to cover Mission Impossible 3. There's just sometimes we can't get the info for anyone that's in a movie, and you know, it's hard to get people. So we were thinking each year we're going to do hall passes. Each of us are going to get one each. We're going to be able to pick any movie that we want to cover, any sequel, of course. But the cool caveat with it is like I just mentioned, obviously we don't want to do like a brand new movie that had it, but sometimes 70s and 80s sequels, it's hard to find someone. But even before that, like Jamie was sending me some cool old ones from the 50s and 60s, or even covering like a Godzilla sequel. It might be hard to get somebody from the 60s or 70s that might have worked on this movie that's still around. So that'll be a cool thing to be able to do. And Jamie had the good idea is you guys get involved, message us on social media at Sequels Only, email Doug@sequelsonly.com. Some ideas you had, throw it at us, and we'll see what sticks to the wall, because we hope to do one of them maybe in the next month or two. We'll see. We're going to do it in the sense of the other person doesn't know the movie that the other person's going to be choosing. Then at the very end of the episode, when I'm getting ready to introduce the next movie, either I'll throw it out there or Jamie will be like, whoa, dude, stop. However he wants to say it. He could say it however he wants. He doesn't.
I'm not going to say it like that.
He doesn't have to talk about like a California surfer, but yeah, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. So there's exciting. That. Yeah, man. So let's get into this because I think I'm going to be able to maybe convince you.
No, you won't. This literally took me about 15 stops to just get a little break and get back into it. And I just finished the last 15 minutes about 20 minutes ago. So
me too. But I did it because I wanted to savor it like a cheesecake. I wanted little bites. Don't compare this to cheesecake.
Cheesecake is good. This was not. This would be like that fruit pie that people make for Thanksgiving or that that no one, or a fruitcake. What is it?
Fruitcake.
Like a fruitcake that no one wants to eat, but you always have that aunt that brings it over. That's what this movie is. You have this movie that no one wants to see, but it's being put in your face.
God, what's worse, the fruitcake loaf thing that's really glazed over, or that box, that Italian box that's already wrapped in a present? You like that thing?
Well, what you're talking about? Just the box?
No, I'm talking about the actual dessert that's in that box.
What dessert's in that box? There's a lot of desserts that go in that box.
No, I don't know what it is. It's like some Italian name on it. And it's just who wants to buy? You're gonna buy a box?
It's usually cookies in there.
No, it's not cookies. It's some kind of angel food cake kind of fruity thing. I don't know what it is.
All right, I think
it's like a fruit cake, but
no one likes
fruit, but Italian.
Yeah, no one likes fruitcake. No one likes it. Do you like it?
No. Oh man!
Right.
So what I do really enjoy about this one, because especially when you have a new actor playing the Leprechaun, and you want to be able to bring back a legacy character, which they do with Ozzie, played by the amazing Mark Holton. Mark, I really hope I can get to interview soon, hopefully, because he reached out to us. So hopefully we can connect because I'm a huge fan of his. But it's cool that they were able to do that legacy, that sort of requel, like Scream's doing. I Know You last summer, they're going to do a new one. So they bring him back. This is a direct sequel to the original. Forget about, Vegas. You forget about LA. You forget about all that stuff. This one's just set in Montana. And Ozzie's back. And it's cool. They open up with the ending of the first one. Same thing. He's melting, gets put into the well. Boom. You think he's there forever? That's the thing that's silly. Just the way he goes back.
Hold on. That's what's silly. Okay.
It is silly.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we got that out of the way, because that was the only thing that was silly. I have two questions about this Leprechaun. One, is he the only Leprechaun that's around? Is he the only? Because he's the only one that goes to the hood. Were there any other were there female leprechauns in any other movies? Were there any other competing leprechauns? Is he the only leprechaun alive?
I think so. Well, at the end of this movie, we get a lot of leprechauns.
That's still the same person. It's but is he so one question I have is okay, so is he the only leprechaun? Is there a family of leprechauns out there? Because you don't hear about anything but himself. And the other thing is, I'm assuming he's always looking for gold, right? His gold, is that basically a theme in most of his movies?
Well, yeah. No, that's all he wants is gold. Okay. He wants me gold.
Can I ask you, what is he going to do with that gold? It's not like he's going to the store. He's going to buy anything.
Well, it gives him power. His power?
Okay, but
he's able to levitate people.
Only if he has gold. So if he doesn't have gold, then he doesn't have any powers.
Well, that's sort of what it is. It's a combination of having the gold gives him more powers and having kills. So it's kind of like a cross between Freddy with the fear of people. So I guess if he kills people, he gets more powerful. But
yeah, but didn't he had power in the beginning of the movie?
Not much. Not until he got the piece of gold from Ozzie.
Wait, his goo turned into himself inside Ozzie's body. So that wasn't power.
What was in Ozzie's belly? A gold coin. A gold coin from the original movie. Ozzie
so I didn't see the original movie.
So in the original movie, he wanted to slice open Ozzie because Ozzie saw the coin. I forgot. I feel like it was by accident. There was something with him swallowing it by accident. But
okay. So maybe he thought it was one of those chocolates that come in a gold wrapper,
maybe
like a coin.
Man, you got to watch the original.
All right.
Great stuff in that.
Just so I understand, he wants gold to get power.
Yep.
And gold is given, so he doesn't spend it. It's just a pot of gold. So if there's only a little gold, he only gets a little power.
Well, that's what happened. Yeah, that's what we saw. Because he only had a little gold. Because he fell for the old tampon in the pot of gold trick.
Okay.
Can't fall for that, man.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which I was not expecting that. We'll get into that before that. When they were talking about their plan, I thought it was going to be something different.
Oh, you mean you didn't think it would be like a pillow fight? You didn't think that was to be part of the plan?
No.
I can't. I have so many questions with this stupid movie.
Oh, all dude, right. I got the answer. Oh, well, I'm trying to have the answers, but no, I do sort of like in this movie that not only is it a direct sequel, that it's Ozzie. Like you see Ozzie, so you're like, oh, this is a direct sequel. This is the same house that Lyndon said they built from scratch in South Africa to make it look exactly the same. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then you're like, who's this girl? She's like haunted by the leprechaun. She's sitting on the bus. She's haunted by it. And I'm like, oh man, you know what? I'm like, this is like, who is this? And then later when it's revealed who it is, I'm like, that is so cool.
But why was she seeing visions?
Well, her mom was Jennifer Aniston, who was in the original movie.
I understand that. Okay, but what is that? Why did Jennifer Aniston have visions too in the first movie?
No, well, she said her mom had a mental illness ever since that. She saw monsters all the time. I don't know if it really would transpire. I don't know if like the leprechaun has the power because he's in this well, like thousands of miles away. If he really has, I
don't think the visions had anything to do with the leprechaun. I don't think he was giving her visions. I mean, he was still a pile of goo, so I don't think he was. It was just. I just think she was getting visions just to. Like they didn't explain that. Like there's no reason why, and it happens a few times in the movie that she was having.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know that. Like that right there, just there was no explanation for that. You know,
unless her mom was very vivid in the stories about it, like telling her about it.
So you think you were just like kind of making it up, like what she thinks her mom was explaining?
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like her mom was really screwed up because she talked about it like I have had no friends because I've had to take care of my mom for the last like.
Well, her mom didn't leave the house. Her mom never left the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, sure.
Look what happened to her. Haunted, man. If she was in this movie, holy shit, that'd have been.
Well, she kind of was,
dude. We'll talk about that. I didn't look at the credits, but I'm like.
It sounded, yeah, I know.
Oh, great. Like, it was like whoever, like, a great impressionist did that voice. And I'm like, you know what? How cool would it have been if she would have showed her face in this friggin' movie?
Why couldn't she? Chubby did.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so she could have.
I agree.
Okay.
Couldn't you have called her? Hey, it's Mark Holt. Remember me? And then she's like, oh, my God, I'll do it. Oh, my God. Jennifer Aniston.
She would. That's her type. But I back to Chubby again. I really think he did a great job. I didn't know he was in the first movie. So just since I didn't see it, so I just thought he was just playing this role. But like, he really especially the scene when he was kind of possessed, whatever that was going on. Like he did that well. I thought he did a very good job of that. So
when he was playing charades, the charades that I knew. Because it's the ending of the first movie. It was basically what you saw in the opening for like a few minutes. He was charading that to her, like with the slingshot, the 4-leaf clover. He was like doing that whole thing. But I love that she's crying. And I think that's kind of like the commentary of this movie about talking about like the environment and sort of poking fun at them. And then also like, social media aspect of it because she's crying on the bus after having this nightmare and she's like, oh, let me take a quick selfie, and she takes a selfie on the bus. Then she gets off this Greyhound bus and she's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, hold on. So she's I mean, like this whole part of the movie where she's going to a new college, she doesn't know any of these people. This is her sorority. Like why is she leaving her school to come to here?
I don't even know where she was going to school. I think she said she was she was just commuting from home. Yeah.
Okay. She was commuting from home, but this is a sorority that she's joining without pledging?
Well, I guess because it's like a nerdy thing. She just started, so I think Rose needed whoever. So I think when she reached out, because she's like an environmentalist too, she probably just accepted her.
Well, is it really a sorority though? There's only 3 girls in it.
It is only sorority. Did you understand do you remember from the periodic table of elements when you were in school, the name of the sorority was AU?
Is that gold?
Which is gold. Yeah.
I didn't think about it then, but okay. It's a little,
which is kind of silly that they had that.
It is.
I was
silly.
like, shut up. When they first showed it, I'm like, shut up. But the fact that it was funny because the bus stop and then where the house was like, I think an hour from campus, which is ridiculous. But the fact that she got off a bus stop that was far, like, why wouldn't she get off the bus that's at the school? Because her and Ozzie drive past the school. And the fact that she gets off, no one's there. And I thought that whole scene was funny when he's like, "Oh, can I help you out?" And she's like, "No, I don't need help." And she's like, "Creep." And she's like, "Oh." And she called. The girl wasn't picking up. Katie, who I liked. I liked all the girls in this movie. They were, yeah. But anyway, okay. So when she calls, she's like, "Let me call a taxi." And it was like Ozzie's taxi.
So Ozzie's taxi is a tow truck.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because he answers, goes, he's the only taxi, I guess, in town, but it's a tow truck.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you have to sit in the front seat with your taxi driver. That's something.
That is weird. Ugh.
Very weird. Whenever you go in a Uber or anything, like nothing against Uber people, but when you're with like it's you and 4 people and they jump in first, you're like, shit.
Yeah, I know.
So okay, conversation and
here's a question I have. So 4-leaf clovers, is that like garlic to vampires? It
is, yeah.
But since when? Isn't like 4-leaf clover supposed to be like the big thing for leprechauns? It's like their lucky charms. Lucky Charms always has 4-leaf clovers. So why would that be?
If you saw the original, you would have saw a very good scene of him eating Lucky Charms and going. He eats the.
He actually ate the cereal. Wait, he ate the cereal?
Yep, because there's a pot of gold on it. Yeah, the first one has a lot of good bits. They have that one, and also more of the shoe shining. They figure out that he has to shine shoes, which I don't understand that. I don't know if leprechauns are cobblers, but the fact that in the first one,
he has a shoe fetish.
Oh no, he does.
He has a shoe fetish. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but in the first one, he had to like shine shoes, so they figured that out, and they kept throwing shoes at him, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he keeps shining them in the original one. Yeah.
Why just because he has to?
I have no idea.
You're not selling the first movie to me. I'll tell you right now. I mean,
I'm already
thinking.
It doesn't matter. There could be things that make no sense.
All right. Anyway,
and you had Jennifer Aniston's first movie.
I saw clips of it, but all right. So I just found it weird that 4-leaf clovers are like the garlic for leprechauns. Like I always thought 4-leaf clovers was like their thing. Like they always carry it around.
So you think if there's a leprechaun listening at Sequels Only, let us know if you walk around with 4-leaf clovers. Well, I guess they're very rare.
What? No, they're not. They have a whole patch of them at the farm. Didn't they have a whole patch?
Well, I said that, which is silly, but you can't like grow a 4-leaf clover.
Apparently they can. Not only do they grow it, they use it as if they're using kale. So they put it in all their meals.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. All right.
Yeah. So no, real quick, it's pretty funny. I did I love when movies when they show like Facebook or they show Twitter and it's like Twatter or like whatever Bookface or something. Like in this one, it was instead of Google, it was Boogly. Was
it really?
It was Boogly. Boogly. I'm like, all right.
So
but I did like right away, like you really, because I didn't even think in the wildest mind that Lila was going to be the daughter of Jennifer Aniston's character. I'm like, Ozzie's here. That's a connection. But the fact when he looks at her and he's like, you look like somebody I used to know. And then I'm like, holy shit. Tori Redding from the original.
Did Ozzie have a relationship with Jennifer Aniston and she's the lost daughter?
Could you mention that?
Well, they don't mention her father at all. It's all about the mom.
Well, the ages don't work out because she's like, yeah, because the first one's like 92, but I guess they could work it out.
He looks like he could be her age, Jennifer Aniston's age.
Yeah,
they're the same age. So why wouldn't age work out?
Oh, no, I'm talking about for the daughter, not for them. Anybody can have sex.
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
That's how it works. Okay. All right.
That's how it works. Yeah. I'm just saying the kid would be like 30 right now or like, but,
we're talking about a movie that has a leprechaun. So, I mean, it's not far-fetched that she could be the daughter, considering they don't mention a father at all. And he's the only one left from the first movie. Just saying.
See, that would have been good. I'm trying to think if there was a guy that was like a love interest in the first one. I'm sure there was. It'd be cool if he was in this movie. Like randomly, like say in the third act or the second act, he's like finding out like, oh my God, why would she go back to that house or something like that? That would have been pretty neat to have the other character helping out because really nobody was there. Like even at the very end of the movie, which we'll get to it then, it was like, why is this guy even showing up? Like, why do we even see this guy right now? It's just silly. Like,
and he pulls what happens in every single movie. As soon as everything's done, help comes.
Yeah.
They always come at the last minute. Yeah. Which, by the way, they all have cell phones. Why didn't they call for help the entire time?
Oh, wasn't there an issue with it because they were off the grid? I thought there was something with that.
I thought she used her cell phone at some point. Didn't they use it at one point in the movie? And then I thought they did.
That's a good question. That's what they always say about like horror nowadays or even action movies or really anything. It kind of ruins it. Cell phones ruin the element because so many movies like in the 70s and 80s would be like over with a cell phone.
Well, I think they mentioned in the beginning that there's no service at the same time there was no water or something like that. There's no power. So I think once they got the power going, they were going to have the service.
Oh, okay. So then the power went out.
Right.
For a while.
But then it went back on. All right.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have done like called right away, but yeah.
Okay.
Who needs that, right? Oh man. So then we meet Katie. Katie was supposed to pick her up. She didn't know what time it was. I love how all these girls are just, it was like they basically went into like a artificial intelligent bot and put in like, say the smartest words in a sentence. Because some of it, I was just like, oh my God, I don't even know what you're talking about. It was like, oh my God, I hurt even at the end of the movie, she was like, I got stabbed in my flailing. So I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No. She goes, I hit my, I wrote it down. She mentioned the muscle, the trapezius. She goes, I got stabbed in my trapezius. It's yeah, all these girls were like MacGyver. You know, like, I mean, even the plan at the end, like, just like knowing that this conducts this and that, like, it was like, these are the smartest girls, yet they're living an hour away from the campus in an old house. Like, you're going to tell me they couldn't find another house to rent? Like, this is the house they have to build up? You know, like, it was just so dumb. I mean,
I think it was because they got it I think it was like because they got it for free. They had no money. Like, when Rose reveals, like, how she funded the house.
No, I know. But
that was still funny.
It was, well, yeah, I don't know. But the fact that she mentions we don't have water and then like she didn't panic, but the minute she says we don't have any internet, she freaked out. She's like, no internet. So having water, that's okay. Not water, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't drink anything. But with internet, it's almost like an airplane joke. You know, we're all out of coffee. And then everybody freaks out, like, you know, we might be crashing. We're gonna, you know, buckle up. We got turbulence, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's gonna be exciting." Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, we're out of coffee.
I gotta say, I agree. Like, if I didn't have water for a day, I'd totally be fine.
No. So where are you gonna go to the bathroom? Where are you gonna wash your hands?
In the toilet.
Okay. First of all, the fact that I can't imagine it being one day. You know, these girls are going to literally maneuver and figure out how to install water or like pipes and like get and where'd they get all supplies from? Like they're basically rigging.
We know how they got the supplies, which is like really funny. How they got the money.
Well, I know how they got the money, but like, so they're basically installing a plumbing system in this house. Oh, okay.
And they're running.
And they're trying to do it in one day.
Everything outside. Yeah, they're trying to do it all in one day.
Okay. All right.
I did like you did have the other girl. Like you had the really smart girls. You had the smart party girl, Meredith. It was like this slut, I guess. Sort of.
You guess? Well, I don't know. I think the other girl was more of a slut.
Oh, yeah, I know. That was really funny with that guy. You know, the funniest thing about this movie was the fact that I bet you everyone, this is just my guess, I might be wrong, If we went on the IMDb, all the main cast is from America, except Katie's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. Because if you heard his voice, every 7th or 8th word, boom, South African slipped in. You heard the accent so bad. It was so funny. Like he was like, "Oh, you want me to sleep on the couch?" Like it was real normal. And then you'd hear like something come in on like the 8th or 9th word. Then you go back to it. But no,
hold on. I don't think the Leprechaun was from America. He had an Irish accent.
Yes. Well, he was real. He was a real Leprechaun.
Well, that's so.
So what did Ed Begley Jr. do to these people? Why did we get an Ed Begley Jr. joke making fun of Rose? It was Rose has gone all Ed Begley Jr. and I'm like, whoa. What's
okay, hold on.
Here?
Okay, so this movie came out in when? 2018?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this movie has an Ed Begley Jr. joke and an MC Hammer joke.
Oh, I love that MC Hammer joke.
Okay, this is 2018. Like both those should have been jokes from the 80s. You're making references to something that happened 30 years ago.
Well, this is
funny.
Is the old. I think this is the old. I don't think it's 100 like really funny, but I think this is the whole like kids movie thing. Like in a kids movie, they'll have the like the old jokes to get the older people. It's people that watch it. I would say a good number of people that watch this movie watch it because of the nostalgia of the first one. So the first one came out at that time.
So five people really enjoyed the nostalgia.
I like the MC. I loved. I really enjoyed this movie.
Okay, first of all, I can almost guarantee you that since this movie came out in 2018, you're gonna have a whole young generation trying to watch this movie. Not one person knows who Ed Begley Jr. is.
Well, that's a crime.
Well, okay, I agree, but they're not gonna know who he is. They may not even know what Hammer Time means.
I would think that song, because kids do a lot, like they watch everything on YouTube.
But it wasn't in song. He just phrased it Hammer Time. It wasn't like he danced. Like if he did the Hammer dance, that would have been funnier. Like he did the Hammer dance.
Oh, that'd be really funny if he did that.
Right. But he just said Hammer Time. I will bet you no one would get that joke either. So like you have two references from the 80s that I feel fell flat because it wasn't the right audience.
Okay, fine. Two jokes fell flat. That's fine.
Well, I think the fact that the movie was made is a joke. I mean, that's probably the biggest joke.
No way. Not at all.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
No, but no, the Ed Begley one was so weird because I've listened to a lot of interviews with him. He was like a big partier in the 60s, 70s, and then he got like completely sober, even though he's still definitely like an off the wall kind of character actor guy that I love. But I'm like, why are we digging at him about Rose? What did Ed Begley do to the writer? Unless somebody related to Ed Begley wrote this movie. That's the only thing I should have looked up.
Yeah, but that's still, you're crapping on it. Like to me, 2018, they should have been like a Charlie Sheen joke. Like that would have been funnier.
To me, that I think that's just as old because I think Charlie Sheen, pissing
just as old as Ed Begley Jr.
Well,
are you kidding me? Charlie Sheen was relevant in the 2000s, at least. With his stupid
what would be
show.
A more relevant? Who's got? Oh, Kanye. That'd be a better joke, right? Like Kanye,
Justin Bieber. I mean, he was drinking a lot.
Was he going crazy?
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, but yeah. It's so stupid.
I just thought it was like so odd, like that it was like
it was odd.
It picked out.
So let me ask you this: so if you use a song in a movie, you got to pay royalties to that. What if you use someone's name?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that's free range.
Oh, it's free range.
I would think so.
Okay.
There's so many movies that make fun of people, comedians that make fun of people in specials.
No, I know. I didn't know if they had to pay royalties for using your name.
That'd be pretty funny. So then this is like where they dive into more of the house, the solar panels, you want everything to do. And then I mentioned like who's Meredith. I love when they introduce Meredith, like Rose goes, she is the asshole and she loves her plants because she's a big stoner, which she doesn't get high in this movie at all. So I thought that was me a thing. I was really hoping that she would get high And then the leprechaun would approach her when she's high. Because he does that in Lep in the Hood. He kind of like messes with people when he's high. But no, we didn't get any of that.
But see, so wait. So maybe I didn't see that line or hear that line. So they said she was more of like a mean than the blonde, the drunk.
No, the blonde is Meredith. Meredith is the blonde.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Okay, yeah. I mean, she has one line in here that, like, when she talks about her mom, the main girl's mom, like she just basically.
Oh my God!
I was like, that was brutal. Like that was a brutal, just like come out in line, that she said.
That was, oh my God, dude, that was terrible. This girl's like kind of like opening up to these new people she's just meeting for the first time. Which was,
let's be honest, a little weird. I mean,
really weird.
The way she just basically just came out and said it, like there was no warm up. It was like just hit him right with the most troubling thing that's going on in your life. I'm gonna hit him right away. Yeah. I mean, that's just like, yeah. All right.
And Rose gave her great advice in the basement, like in the next morning when the basement was flooding.
Cut it out.
She was like, maybe like cut out on the whole like your mom went crazy thing. It's like, you know what? Pretty great advice to give to a new person, especially involved in a group. Like, you don't want that because then people will know you for that. Oh, who's that? Is that Lila? It's like, oh, I don't know her name. She's just that crazy girl that we're talking about her mom going insane.
And let's be honest, if someone's telling you this multiple times, like, do you really care? Like, do you really, at this point, you want to hear it? Like, the first time you hear it, you're like, oh, I feel so bad. And then you keep hearing it. Like, like, who cares anymore? Like,
I get it. Your mom was insane. Okay.
She believed in monsters. Okay.
Yeah. Go put the solar panels on the goddamn roof.
Okay.
So then Ozzie, we missed it before, but like when Ozzie helped, when he helped Lila get her bags out of the car, he dropped his old timey Nokia cell phone, which is great that was in this movie. So he's like, oh man, I got to drive back. So he drives back to the house. He picks it up. And then right away he hears, ooh.
But wait. So he told her before he left the first time, he told her to look in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the basement that he knew about?
Well, that's where the map was in the basement. And the gold at one point was in the basement that he thought of, but then it got moved by someone.
I thought he knew about those bottles of clover juice that I was like, what the heck is he talking about? All right.
No, I don't know if he was talking about that. I think he was more talking about the map that she found that was like, looks like a little kid drew that with crayon.
So explain something to me. So in the first movie, they find the gold and then they hid it on him.
So in the first movie, I believe the house was Tori's family's.
It was in the family. It was in the family because I said that. But my point is, after they killed the leprechaun, why didn't they all grab the gold and just use it for themselves?
I don't know why they wanted. I don't know why, because they felt like he would keep coming after them, so they wanted to hide it. So maybe they hid it in that like abandoned truck. I don't know what that part of it was, but I do remember I think it's in the original or in the sequel because the 4-leaf clover has the power. He was basically. I don't think it was. I'm trying to think what movie it was. He was like in a wooden box, and in the wooden box there was a 4-leaf clover on top, and he couldn't open it. Like that's what made him stuck, and then somehow gets knocked off for something silly. Yeah.
Okay.
Classic cinema. But so then Ozzie comes back, he picks up his cell phone, he's getting ready to go in. He hears some giggling from the well that he has memories of from when they basically put the leprechaun down there like almost 30 years ago.
Wouldn't you have filled that well up like with cement or rocks
truck,
or something?
Yeah.
Something
yes.
like, okay. So what was if he seemed so afraid of the leprechaun the entire beginning of the movie when he's talking about it, when he has all the clovers in his car, what was he doing going to the well?
Oh, dude, the clovers in his car, mental illness, something going on. Whenever people have stickers on their back of their car or in their car, something going on there. When you pull up to somebody at a light and they have like 1 million stickers in the back.
Thanks. We just lost 20% of our listeners.
Don't tread on me. Every friggin' you can take.
If you can read this, you're driving too close.
If you're gonna drive this close, at least pull my hair. If you're gonna ride my ass, pull my hair, or whatever that one is. Yeah, classic. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, maybe I forgot. So he heard the giggling, which I do like his little giggle that he does throughout the whole movie.
He nails it. The voice.
Like I said, he does a great job. Yeah. So, but what? So he goes there. He just look. Does he drop anything in the well? Like I don't remember. Like what?
No, he just hears something, and he looks in, and then the green liquid.
Yeah. So he after these 30 years since he's been down in that well, or 25 years, nobody's walked past that well for the goo to come out.
I don't think so, because I think they mentioned something. I'm sure somebody might have walked past to do something with that house, but they made it seem like this house lay dormant. I think that's what Rose said. That's how they got it, basically for nothing. They were able to get this house because it's been sitting in the campus somehow, which is silly that the campus took that house over. The campus is an hour away. How would they randomly take it over?
Right. Why would they? It's like, it makes no sense, but they don't really explain why the goo comes to life. Like I can understand if maybe someone threw like a coin in the well, and that kind of like, brought him back to life or something. But all he did was look in the well, and then, the green explosion happens. Like there was no explanation for that.
Yeah. Well, he kind of does that in the fourth movie. This guy, like in space, he like pisses on what is the leprechaun's remains. He pees, and somehow through the liquid, he goes into the guy's penis. What? And he comes out of the guy's penis.
Wait a second.
That happens in the movie.
So you're telling me in the movie Leprechaun in Space, he pees on
a guy pees on the leprechaun's remains. Like I think he's almost like cryogenically frozen. Yeah.
Right. And the remains slide inside.
No, you see like some green go in through the pee stream up, and then when the guy's like pulls his pants up, he's like walking around kind of like Ozzie does in the scene, and he starts like lurching over, and then the leprechaun comes out of his crotch. Which so that's what kind of happens with Ozzie.
It does, but here's like one of my biggest questions I have. All right. Mm-hmm. So this seems to be a trend that Leprechaun comes out of people's bodies and everything else. His clothes are part of that. Like he automatically has his clothes that are also part of the goo. Like that's like, and the fact that didn't he reach back in to get his hat?
Yeah, his hat gets stuck in Ozzie when Ozzie's driving.
So when he goes inside, he basically has like a wardrobe like inside the people's body that he's so stupid. Like okay.
But just the fact that Ozzie's driving, he starts like coughing, gets out of the car. But cool, like scene. This is like right from the beginning. We get some great special effects. Like the way he comes out of the body and like rips through Mark Holton's body, that was so cool. And then right away, like we get like kind of the rules that they're gonna follow in this movie. So he talks about like, oh, I gotta kill someone else.
Well, the first word, you know what he said first? The first word he said? Papa?
What?
He says Papa. As soon as he comes out of the stomach, he looks at him, he goes, Papa?
Amazing. Every line he has is they're really all funny. They're so like situational and they rhyme so well. And I don't know, it was so good. But no, I love that before this scene, we randomly saw one other actor that we saw, like the post office guy. We saw him before the next scene, but to set up that we were going to see him die later. Like we only saw him wave, like Ozzie waved at him when he was dropping off Lila at the house. And you're like, oh, this guy's dead. Man, what a way to go. He goes up to the mailbox.
But see, how is he doing these kills without the gold? Because he doesn't have any powers.
No, he has power. He can still kill someone. He doesn't have the powers to levitate. Like he's able to throw Katie at the end of the movie, or he's able to do things like that. Yeah.
But he's still doing these massive kills without the gold.
Well, he's not doing massive kills. He basically hides in a mailbox.
Massive. He threw the mailman inside a mailbox.
No, he doesn't throw. Yeah, he pulls his head inside of it, and then he puts him onto the ground, and then he runs him over.
How does he reach the pedal?
I don't know. That's a great question. That would be really funny if he showed him jump down. But man, so funny. Like, oh, gotta back up now.
No, I think it would be funny if he jumped in the front seat, Like he's gonna run him over, and he goes, "Oh, I can't reach," and he gets back out. Like he's like,
But I love the excessive blood that comes out of that mailbox when he runs it over. God, it's so good. But he does say, "Oh no, yeah, you're right." He's Papa. Then he goes, 25 years. I have a lot of killing to make up for. When do I get better looking?
Okay, hold on. He's been goo for 25 years. How does he know it's 25 years? Like, it's been 25 years exactly. There's no way he's going to know that. He's goo. He shouldn't know anything. He should be like, it's almost like a rebirth.
Well, he did have birth. Maybe he had a calendar down there. Maybe he was like in prison.
Well, considering he's got a wardrobe in his body, he probably does have a calendar down there too. Okay.
He probably, future calendar. He bought like 25 years in advance. So he was going to be ready.
Okay.
But wait, man, what a start to the movie. Like, really.
And the fact that Chubbs is arguing with him while he's sticking out of his body. Yeah. He's having a conversation with the leprechaun as he's hanging out of his body.
That's killing him. Yeah. The thing that's killing him. Go down with a fight. Mark Holton, Ozzie, take him out. But your line that you're talking about before with Meredith, the fact that the line she says is, "Watch out, Matt. Crazy is hereditary."
Awful. Like, yeah. And it was like right after she told her about the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
God, and you know what the Lep does in this movie, and I don't know if he does it in the other movies. He does a very Jason and Michael Myers-esque thing. He's a peeper.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a peeper. Yeah, but it's easy for her. He's small, so it's easy for him to be a peeper.
So you're saying people that are shorter peep more?
Well, I think people that are shorter have an easier time. I'm not saying they're better. Well, they're better peepers because they're smaller. They can hide behind a lamp a lot easier than someone taller. Didn't we talk about we talked about places to hide in the house? So
when we were doing the Purge.
No, Purge.
Yeah.
So I mean, but think about it. Someone who, if you're a smaller person, you could peep in better, easier places than someone that's, taller. That's all.
No, 100%. No, dude, my daughter at hide and go seek, she's pretty good now. She hides places that I can't fit in. So yeah, you're right.
Okay.
She knows what to do. So how about so we get so we find out the relationship, like Katie and the other guy. I forget the other guy's name. I remember Matt's name. He was the camera. He was the filmmaker. He had the camera the whole time. But the other guy was I think South African, because he would slip it in every so often. Katie's like, "I'm not sleeping with you." Then we randomly
immediately she says that immediately to him.
Oh, and that they're sleeping together.
And she makes it like it's him. It's all her.
Oh,
it's all her. Like throughout the movie, and even at the end, it's like it's like it's really her. So I mean, that's so ridiculous.
She's got a lot going on, but no, I love that she's cleaning randomly, and she's sexually doing it, kind of like to flirt with him, but she just said, "I don't want to flirt with you." But that's where he's kind of left.
She's basically twerking as she's wiping down the furniture. Yeah, I'm not going to sleep with you, but let me twerk first, and then as you're cleaning. And she really I don't think she was cleaning anything. She was just dusting the same spot over and over again.
All right, dust is gone. No, not all of it. But I do later when it's yeah, you guys, all right, we're going to blow up our air mattresses. She's like, "You better not use your air mattress. It'll blow the fuses. We don't have enough power." And he's like, "Oh, so you want me to sleep with you again?" And it was maybe that was her whole thing. Maybe they did have enough power. She just wanted an excuse for him to, because then they hooked up again, right? Did they bang
they did it a few
against
times.
The house?
Well, she says it every time she says it, she doesn't look too serious.
She doesn't even believe herself.
No, it's all, without a doubt, it's all her. She comes on to him the whole time.
So here's my biggest question in the whole movie. You ready? Okay. So Lila, we saw her on the bus, saw her at the bus stop, right? How'd she have a giant panda bear that she says that she brought with her? She says it.
That is.
She goes, she had a giant panda bear, and she mentions it later when a really funny scene happens. But she mentions later in the movie, she goes, it was in the giant panda bear that I brought. She didn't have a panda bear.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's pretty.
At the bus stop, we saw her sitting on the bed.
No, she basically had nothing. So yeah, there's no way she had that.
And guys,
how about the fact that
the movie giant? I'm talking. It was bigger than her.
Yeah, it was a big. Yeah, that didn't make sense. But how about the fact that they're about an hour away from campus and they only have one car? How are they getting to school? There's no buses going out there.
We know no buses are going out there unless they're going to take
planning on this. There's poor planning on this house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rose wasn't thinking. She really wasn't thinking at all.
Well, she's not really thinking throughout the whole movie. I mean, she has one thing on her mind, and that's it. Just to fix this house up, and she cares about nature.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be something with her with one of the guys because she seems so reserved. Then there is a line that she says later in the movie that shows that she's kind of like different than she seems, but it's really only like a one-off thing she says. But you're like, man, she's kind of like stuck up. In a sense, like she's very like straight laced. She's like super nerdy out of all of them. Like Katie's,
right?
They're all obviously nerdy because the whole point of this movie is like with them like environment.
Yeah, but they don't. They really don't care about the house or the environment. She does. Like honestly, I think if she wasn't so anal about fixing this house up, they'd be partying with the alcoholic girl the whole time.
Yeah,
like they would, and then it would become a real sorority.
Oh yeah,
What?
No, but how funny was it when she slipped a few times and she was like, "Well, I know with this house, I know that we can do," and she's like, "I mean, like she wanted credit for like everything that they were all collectively doing. She's like, right. I think we can win a prize we can win a prize for this house. Like she was kind of like, she was definitely something going on with her when it came to that. But yeah. Okay. God, and then we get the first dream that Lila has. Oh, dude, that what's crazy about that scene when you really think about it? So she dreams Ozzie is above her dead, which we know he's dead. Blood drips on her face. She screams, wakes up, but then she has blood on her face. Where'd that come from?
See, yeah, well, and that doesn't get addressed, and even after it happens, she doesn't even question it really. You see it, but the whole Ozzie thing with her again, that doesn't make sense. She has this premonition in the beginning, then throughout the whole movie, it's never addressed why she's able to see Ozzie and no one else can. Why she can see? Why she gets these? She's talking to a dead person, knows that he's dead because he wasn't shown. So how does she know that he's dead? How does she have all these powers? They don't address it at all. It'd be one thing if maybe in the first movie Jennifer Aniston had something like this, fine. But Jennifer Aniston didn't have anything, so it was so dumb. They shouldn't have done it.
Well, I think they did that so Mark could be in more of the movie. I just didn't. I don't understand.
Which if he wasn't in the movie enough.
No, I know, I agree. But if his throat got ripped out, then I get it. But dead people can talk. We know in so many movies dead people do talk. So it was weird that just because his stomach was ripped open, he couldn't speak, which is kind of weird. But
and why? You would think though, because he's clearly she's seeing him as if he's alive, but he's dead, and his face looks like it's a zombie, it's dead, but his stomach was all intact. He should have been walking around with his guts hanging out.
It was not. His guts were hanging out. She gave him saran wrap in the basement. You don't remember that scene?
Right. I forgot about that.
She had him.
Well, you know what? Because later in the movie, I was just thinking of when later in the movie he looked fine, but I forgot. Yes, she found saran wrap and wrapped him up. So okay.
No. Don't you remember? He put the saran wrap on, and they said we have to get out of this house, and he goes. He puts his finger up oh, I know. And then he walks out of the wall. The saran wrap falls off because he can't go through the wall.
Oh, my gosh. I totally forgot about that scene. So again, she's able to actively see him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just an imagination. She's seeing him in front of him.
Yeah, and he randomly shows up. It's not like he's only in the house. Well, I guess he's only in the house. I think his soul's somehow trapped in the house for some reason.
But they should have no connection whatsoever. There's no connection with them. He drove her there. That's it. And they have this connection.
Maybe that is her dad.
I'm going to say that's her dad. You know,
So
and that's why
that would make more sense now.
It would.
Then now that you mentioned, now that we talk about like why would they have that connection? That's why.
Considering that they don't talk about her dad at all, which means Jennifer Aniston doesn't, either doesn't know who the dad is, or she doesn't want to acknowledge that Ozzie was the father. Yeah. And so that's Ozzie was a dad. I'm gonna stand by that.
I kind of like that. That's good.
Okay.
So you get these girls that are so smart. Next morning, they because they finally had the water running like the night before, so they go into the Lila wakes up because her job was something. But anyway, she ends up in the basement, and I'm like, these girls are so smart. Who the hell goes into a basement when the water's that high? It could be like a live wire. She'd get like electrocuted. But the reason I did like it, we did get a very funny like Jaws-ish scene with the leprechaun
with the music. Yeah. First of all, that was a lot of water for not a long time.
And nobody noticed that or heard that.
No one noticed it. No one heard it. No one heard it. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, it was like waist high. Like it was deep water. But yeah, you're right. Like you're just going to run in that basement, not knowing if any wires or anything else are going on. And she knew exactly where the water was coming from. Yeah. She turned it off right away.
I know. Yeah. She knew. And the wrench, the giant monkey wrench from the 40s, just so be happening like, it's
happened to be right. Yeah.
My mom told me in her crazy stories one day that there's a monkey wrench in the basement. Oh, here it is. And she turned it real quick. She's like, I know. She said to Rose, she goes, I'm sort of like a problem solver. When there's a problem, I figure out a way to solve it. And I'm like, all right, I buy it.
So she knows this house is where her mom stayed?
She knows that her mom's, which I don't know why she would go there.
Right. She knows that her mom went crazy at this house. So let me go there and stay there.
I don't know if she knows that, because then that would be even crazier if she would go there. She just knew her mom lived there. But I would think in her stories of what her mom, I guess her mom was always insane her whole life, I would think. Because this event happened before she was born. So I'm sure her mom was always crazy.
But you're going to tell me the mom, no. See, I don't think she was crazy. I think she, just because she was, one, afraid of the leprechaun, and two, no one believed her that there was a monster leprechaun. So, like they probably thought she was crazy, but she obviously was telling the truth. You're going to tell me she never told the story to her daughter? Like,
I know.
I'm afraid of monsters. That's what I'm
saying. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think, well, you're saying I believe, but I don't think she really did, because why the hell would she go to this house? If my dad told me, like, hey, Doug, there was these monsters in this house that I used to live at.
But my point is, she would have told her. Like, there's no way she wouldn't have told her about a story. Like, she's not going to, like, just pretend like, I'm afraid of monsters. She's going to say, honey, when I was younger, I was chasing a leprechaun, or a leprechaun was chasing me.
Yeah.
Like, like
I was chasing a leprechaun. That'd be like a self-help book. I was chasing a leprechaun, but the leprechaun was chasing me.
Maybe a leprechaun's the father.
Could you imagine that? Oh my
She has this premonition power. She has powers. The only other person in the movie has powers is the leprechaun. I mean, and he seems to have a connection with her. He's always talking to her. He seems to have okay, maybe he's the father.
I think we need like a Maury Povich clip of between who's the father? Is it Lep or Ozzie? And then they're on stage.
That'd be great.
Jennifer Aniston's there too. But
that would be fun.
So the thing that's crazy is this guy, the like South African actor, which I think he's got to be South African, but he bones, which I would say the hottest chick in the movie, a very attractive girl in Katie. And then the next morning, he can't handle when she's like, hey, I'm sort of an expert at this, which she is. Like, in this canon of the movie, when you think of the movie as a whole, these girls are geniuses,
Yes.
But he's like, oh, you got to screw it like this. And he's like, well, no, I'm not going to screw it like that. I'm going to screw it like this. And I'm like, what are we doing right now, dude? You just bone this hot girl, and you can't listen to her in the angle of the screw that's going to go in. And you know what? Talk about great writing. I wish my buddy Tom, who helped us break down some movies, and he remembered these writing things like in Jason Takes Manhattan. How great was that was the callback to the way his demise later in the movie? That was pretty funny. Like, that's the choice they chose.
Correct. But his demise really doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't think that would happen to somebody's body if that
it wouldn't even come close to happening like that.
No,
so
I know.
So like the way that it was so dumb.
But,
I don't know. Okay,
but
it was
go
cool.
to what you said.
It was very. I mean, it was great looking. It just doesn't make sense that would happen, and then the reaction is even worse, which I can't like.
Oh, I know, but it was pretty funny.
Is he dead? He split it in half, and she asked, "Is he dead?" I mean, so what?
Yeah, no, that was
Okay.
So this is where we see the Lep. We saw him obviously peeping the Lep. Yeah, we see the Leprechaun. He's in the barn, and we see him start. He's getting ready to throw a pitchfork at Matt, the filmmaker, when he's talking to Lonnie. What's her name? Lonnie?
You're asking me? I get every single name wrong in every movie. Don't ask me.
Yeah, I know, but I had it written down. But anyway, so he was talking to her because she heard a sound, and it wasn't obviously Matt because he wasn't in there. But then I love when he's getting ready to throw the pitchfork. You're ready for because I think at this point we saw cool effects. Like Mark Holton's was cool looking. I think it was good. And the other one was kind of silly because you saw so much blood come out of the mailbox. But when we saw the solar panel one, which we'll get more into a little bit,
yeah,
it looked
that was very cool,
like amazing, like really,
yeah,
like so cool.
Yeah.
It was like it really took you back to like the '80s practical effect horror that people love.
Very surprising. Again, very surprised. It was like excellent special effects, So like very surprising for the type of movie it is that they had that budget for these kind of kills.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to like our buddy Joe Castro, one of our earlier guests, like Terror Tunes, like the movies that he does the special effects on, and even his own films that he directs, like what he can do. On a shoestring budget, it's pretty unbelievable. And I'm sure it was the same with these people. These are people that probably loved the old school horror effects, and they were able to like show that. But yeah, Lila, that's her name. So so I love when he's getting ready to throw the pitchfork. You're like, oh man, this guy's gonna be a pitchfork in the back, and then he doesn't have enough power. So then that's why he kills the mailman, because he says, oh, I need a kill to get more power. So then that's
okay. So killing or gold gives him power.
Yeah, the rules are loose.
Yeah, the rule. Okay, so stupid.
Fast and loose. And then at this point, she sees dead Ozzie again, and she has to kind of tell it. Then she tells this kid who already the night before she revealed about her crazy mom. She kind of talks about it again to him, and he looks a little like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go," because he's like, "I want to interview you for the movie, for the documentary I'm doing." And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get some shots of the sunset before it gets dark."
He, and he showed interest in her in the beginning.
Yeah,
and
he's like,
yeah, she's like, yeah, I think she's crazy. Forget the mom. I think she's the crazy one. You can't keep talking like that.
Yeah, no, I know you can't do that. You can't do that at all. Another line, I wrote down some lines every so often, but after he killed the mailman, he goes, "Killing is the key to my health, and health is the key to finding my wealth." Like.
He literally was Dr. Seuss throughout the whole movie, because I don't think he had one line that was not a rhyme.
Oh, well, that's all. That's the whole thing. Oh,
one line rhyme. That was almost a rhyme.
I'll allow it. That's like rap nowadays. They don't rhyme anymore. So no, I'll allow it. But then how about when Lila's showering? That's what I love about Leprechaun, because there are silliness to his kills, which is great. But she's showering. And what does he do? He flushes the toilet. Like a little kid, like a prankster.
Well, he is a prankster.
Yeah.
But how about the fact that she's standing there naked and her friend takes a picture of her and puts it on Snapchat?
Oh my God, dude.
And she didn't seem that upset about it. First of all, this movie wasn't made in the 80s because there were no boobs.
That is true. Oh, that's Sci-Fi Channel.
Like this,
they don't show boobs.
Oh, okay.
It's cable.
Okay. That's true.
Yeah. But no, that's what I thought too. It was like, what the frig? Anybody would take a picture of me that I barely knew after I told you hey, I didn't have a lot of friends, and this is how you're gonna
Yep.
welcome me.
And she says it's going to go on Snapchat or something. Like it's going on an internet. Like really? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, she didn't seem that bothered by it. Like she's like, all right.
And then from there, they're playing music in the house. Meredith's playing like, I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was like alt rock for a little bit. And then an hour, and you're like, why is this happening right now? And I'm like, this is amazing.
See, so he has a lot of power without that gold.
Well, he just killed the postal worker. So he's got a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you know what? Meredith is the one that drinks. Is that the...
Yeah.
She is drunk the entire movie. Like there's not a scene that she does not have some kind of alcohol in her hand.
Well, if you think about it, this movie took place over 24 hours probably, or maybe like a day and a half at the most.
The most. Yeah. So okay. So she's been drinking from morning. She get there early in the morning and still the next day she's still drinking.
Yeah. She's barfing. She's throwing up. Yeah. In the morning, Rose catches her barfing. Yeah.
Okay. And not to mention, it looks like she's the only one drinking.
Yeah, nobody else is drinking.
No one else is drinking. So she's literally like, they don't see that as a problem. She's the only one who's drinking from morning to night. No one else had a drink in their hand.
Yeah, you're right. And nobody else cares. Nobody else wants to drink that. Yeah, they were like all like, "Hey, we got to make sure we do the work in the morning." They didn't give two shits. But here's the part: the panda. So when she goes into her room, okay, this is another thing that, again, we talked about this in Halloween Resurrection. Most horror movies, for some reason, in horror movies, every person that's in the actual movie, like in the realm of the movie, is hard of hearing because the fact that she's in her room and she's screaming. In a sense, like she's not overreacting too much. Well, I don't think she's overreacting enough, but she sees the panda head loose because she walks in and she sees the decapitated panda on the ground. And then she sees somebody sitting on the bed with it on, and it's friggin' the leprechaun.
Okay. Multiple people see this leprechaun throughout the movie. They don't seem that concerned.
No,
until they realize he starts killing.
Yeah. Huh? Well, Matt thought it was a small animal.
A small, yeah, I know. She thought it was a small, but even the other one taking a selfie with the leprechaun. Like this is like there's like I mean, can you imagine seeing a leprechaun in real life? You're like it's like seeing a unicorn. Like you're gonna be like wow, like you're gonna get excited. No, they're just like all right, because she screams at first, and then she has a conversation with him. Like they're buddies.
Right after he licks her and says, "Ooh, you have hints of your mother," and I'm like, "Whoa, dude, that's
what did he lick them? He licked his mother, her mother."
Yeah.
Okay. He's the father. He's the father. I'm telling you.
Oh man, that's weird. So he licked his own dog?
Why would he say something like that?
That is weird.
He's the father.
But then he does have the gold piece, so that's a callback to Ozzie having that gold piece in his belly, so that gave him some of the energy that he had. But the fact that that no one hears this. I know they're talking at like a lower tone at this point. They're actually having a conversation, but maybe because they know her mom's crazy. They're like, oh, she's probably just talking to herself at this point.
So why doesn't he kill her?
It's a great question. Maybe because of the connection to the mom. It's like every movie, they always save the person that they kind of connect with last.
And why does he connect with her? She's the only one he doesn't really try to kill until like, not even like later on, like he had opportunities. I'm telling you, there's got to be a reason why there's a connection outside of the mom is the one that killed him. Like it doesn't make sense. So just think about that.
Mr. Leprechaun, when it comes to the results of 19-year-old Lila Redding, you are the father. And then he gets excited because he's like, I knew the whole time.
Whoa. That was your leprechaun voice?
I know, that sounded like an Indian guy. I know.
I did.
Ah, man. I'll get one in. I'll get one good one in. But so at this point, again, nobody hears them. Andy's still trying to blow up the mattress, which makes zero sense. And then, so Matt's like filming randomly in this house. And then he finally hears her. And then, dude, how about the line that the Lep says about her boobs? He says to her when I'm trying to think what she does. She kicks his head off. And he says, you give great head.
Yeah. He does get tossed around a lot in this movie. Like,
dude, he gets his ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, he does. So, I mean, I did like that fact because to me, it's like you should be able to, but, yeah, I remember that. I forgot about that line.
But no, we talked about it before, but Matt's line, which is like, to me, the craziest thing ever, when he says, oh, it was just a small animal. And she says, it's a leprechaun. He goes, don't worry, we'll set some traps and we'll get it in the morning. I'm like, dude, an animal knocked you over in your house? Like, a mouse would not knock me over.
Okay. Not only that, he is 4 feet tall, or 3 feet, 3.5 feet tall. You're going to tell me you think that's an animal? I mean, clearly that'd be a large animal that just ran by you.
That's what I mean. Even if it was an animal, if it's that big, if it's the size of a small dog, guess what? I'm not sleeping because it could be a fox that has claws, an animal that has claws that can murder me.
That's what I mean. Like, they seem so calm. And well, I mean, I know when she talks about it, like, no one believes her because they think she's crazy. But the minute the drunk girl tells her, everybody believes it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they believe her.
Wouldn't you not believe the drunk person who might be seeing things?
Well, I think they would. What do you believe? The drunkard that you know for a while, or the girl that says her mom sees monsters? I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, but you can't win with either one. I mean, because it's a lot of people that are drunk. They say things that you don't really see either. So I mean, and she, I mean, like I said, I mean, she's beyond drunk. She's been drinking for how long? So
yeah, she's insane.
Yeah.
No, she drinks too much. And then outside, Katie is fixing the fuse boxes. The fuse blew. And then her and Andy they bone right against the wall. Leprechaun's right outside there. So I only pulled one clip for this movie. And you kind of like mentioned it a little bit before. I don't know if it's going to play because, here we go.
I don't care what the others say about you. You're a keeper.
What do they say?
You know. I ain't got a glad eye for a fellow tosspot.
I think I'm having alcohol hallucinations.
Don't be selling yourself short.
Short?
Wow, that's mean.
Was that I was going to say, that's a little short joke?
Oh. Love
so this is made in 2018.
A Walkman and a camera all in one.
So stupid.
Impressive.
What's a Walkman?
Forget it. I'm looking for something, and if you tell me where it is, I won't rip you to shreds.
What are you looking for?
Come a little closer, and I'll tell you.
Oh, frightening.
You know what? That's why we're getting these old jokes. So Ed Begley Jr., the Walkman, Hammer Time, because he was gone for 25 years.
You're right.
So he's waking up to, that's what he remembers, and that's why he's making these stupid jokes.
But did Ed Begley go crazy in 1993?
I'm assuming he did.
He did in the 70s, but I don't remember anything then. But no, so that's what it is. But I do love that how calm she is when he's like, if you tell me what it is, I won't rip you to shreds. And she's like, what is it? Not like,
she doesn't.
Whoa, you're going to rip me to shreds.
Yeah. And again, she's talking to a leprechaun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, doesn't flinch. So her first thing is not to run and tell everybody, hey, there's a leprechaun here. No, let's take a selfie.
Yeah.
Let's see how many likes I can get.
Yeah. But it's funny in this house, because it's such a tiny house, nobody runs outside. It's very rare that people run outside. The only time they go outside is when they leave somebody by themselves. If there's like 3 people or 4 people, 3 go outside, 1 stays inside. And then that's like a theme for the rest of the movie.
Well, this movie only takes place in 4 rooms. You have the outside, the basement, the bedroom, and the kitchen. I think that's the whole movie right there.
I do love her first line when she comes out is so funny because it's like somebody tried to describe a movie they never saw. Her like almost like a knockoff movie. So if there was like a spoof of this movie, that'd be the line. Hey everybody, there's a money obsessed dwarf in the kitchen. I do love that so much.
It's so stupid. And again, they believe it. Like they now it's okay to like, oh, okay. And they didn't seem like, oh, let me go see. Let me run. Like they were not like, they were like, okay. Like the reactions from the rest of the movie on between the deaths and, you know, the leprechaun are very calm. I mean, yes, you'll get the occasional scream, but it lasts like 2 seconds. And then like the emotions change after the scream.
No, 100%. But then this is where Lep does start doing his killing, because I love that he did, because he was peeping at Katie and Andy having sex. That was the guy's name. But when he makes fun of him about not satisfying her, and then he picks him up like it's nothing, he starts tossing him around. Okay.
I mean, this like fight was so silly.
I know.
And the barrel rolling,
like
he's doing. We're just so dumb, and everybody's standing around like they're not like I don't know. It was just like a silly. It was almost like a WWE. You know, those fights where they like use anything goes, no hold bars, whatever. Like that's really what it was, and like they're just watching on the side.
Oh, dude! But the way so we talked about this a few times already, but the way he's just standing there and he like. I don't even know. He says a line before he does something with the solar panel. But anyway, it was that callback to him not listening to Katie, like to screw it the right way. And the way it falls down. And again, I know it's not sharp enough to split somebody in half. And that really wouldn't happen anyway with whatever it was. But when you see it hit and you still see his face and you still see that side angle of everything and it peels open. And I don't know if I'm guessing Katie said the line, "Do you think Andy's dead?"
She did. No, wait. The guy she was sleeping with said it. She goes, "Do you think he's dead?" First, she screamed, and then she goes, "Do you think he's dead?"
Amazing.
As you see, like his body literally in half on the ground. And you know, the way they did it was kind of like slow motion. So you see the slice going down, like he was being sliced like butter, like right in half. And is he dead? Dumb. And even then, like afterwards. You just saw someone get sliced in half. There really wasn't panic. Like
none.
There was a scream at first, and then it was like, okay, let's how do you? I don't like seeing blood from a little cut from a knife. You know, I panic. This guy's split in half. Like, I don't know.
And they were like totally cool. And I love that they did scream. And then they kind of like forgot Rose because somehow Rose didn't hear any of the screaming at this point.
Well, she does a lot of things by herself. She's constantly leaving and doing things on her own.
Oh, and then she gets left. That final scene, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go outside. You stay in here, take care of this all by yourself," which is like crazy.
Yeah, like I mean, like, hey, let's be honest. What she had to clean up. I don't think this is the girl that is basically running the sorority, and not everybody. We're all doing this together. Like, there's no way that the mess that she had to clean up, the splatter all over the place, they just leave it to one person.
Yeah,
ugh,
made zero sense to do it in that order. But yeah, she's still in the house, and then I think she sees the leprechaun, and then she hides in the closet because. She's oh no no so maybe she must have heard the screaming, that's why she was hiding in the closet, because then we just saw the hat, right? The hat rolled in and then he popped out of the hat and she said, "Oh my god, a troll!" And he's like, "Troll? That's just offensive." And then this is where they brought back the shoe thing. She hit him with the shoe in the head and then he started cleaning up all the other ones and then it was kind of dig at Crocs. So
okay, so in the first movie, he has a shoe fetish also?
It's not like it's a shoe fetish. There's some in the lore of this, or maybe in the lore of all leprechauns. I'm not a leprechaun expert. They're like sort of be like cobblers that they have to clean shoes. I don't know why.
But he's like, he stopped, like he was going to kill her, but because the shoes were there, he stopped. Now, at that point, wouldn't you kind of like use your shoes the rest of the movie? Like, did they know that like he stopped because of the shoes?
They should have. Oh no, I know. She should have remembered that because that's what they did in the other movie. Jennifer Aniston and all that were throwing a bunch of shoes at him, and he was like picking each one out, shining it.
So that's like it's like if a dog's chasing you and you throw like a tennis ball, and then a dog turns around and chases a tennis ball. So that's if a leprechaun's chasing you, just throw a shoe and you're safe.
Yeah, if I've
unless
said
it's
this
a
for
croc.
years.
Unless it's a croc.
Unless it's a croc, yeah, and then he'll be like, get this out of here. But no, that's like your horror survival kit. If a leprechaun, it's easy. Just go to a shoe store, go to a Goodwill, buy all the old shoes, and you're good. Just throw them when he's chasing you. You're fine.
Well, apparently it's shoes and iron.
Oh, yeah, iron, yeah.
But, okay, I know we're not there, but how the hell do they know iron works on a leprechaun?
Well, they only know because of her necklace is fool's gold. So fake gold is usually they use iron for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And she used this. Remember, like Katie uses like the scientific name. She was like,
I know, but it just. Oh my. Okay. So wait. So leprechauns, shoes, iron, and 4-leaf clovers. They have a lot of things against them.
A lot, yeah.
Okay.
But they have good things for them. They in this one he doesn't grant wishes. In other movies, he grants wishes. In the worst way. Somebody would be like, I want to hold the gold in the world. And what does he do? He puts all the gold in the guy's belly and the guy's dies. He does like silly stuff like that. But
so
yeah.
Dumb. All right.
And then again, even at this point, Rose stays in the house, which makes no sense, right? So she said she wanted to stay in the house and not leave because the house is energy efficient, which is like kind of dumb. And then at this point, this is where this scene when Meredith traps Delilah in the basement.
Oh, yeah. Like,
because the leprechaun, she made a deal with the leprechaun.
Right. But so again, like, so why does he want Meredith then? Like, if he's looking for the gold, he can ask any of them for help for the gold. Like, what? Yeah. Like, why does he? Like, they don't really explain that connection with her.
Well, I think because the drunkard gave it up because she seemed like she would give it up, like information or help out. Because maybe he could tell that she was kind of like for herself and selfish because she did give it up pretty quick. Be like, hey, Lila knows where the gold is, which I don't think why they would think she just got to this house for the first time in her life.
Yeah. Right.
But no, I love when they get into the car. They're like, let's go. Come on, let's go. It's like, oh my God, he killed Lila. Oh my God, she's dead. And then I love that the leprechaun sitting in the back seat.
But like they didn't even question, like, or look upset when they said, oh yeah, I killed Lila. Like, all right, let's get out of here.
They didn't know her.
That is true.
That's true. They didn't know her. She was a little crazy. So it's like, you know what, better off, We'd have to go visit her at the home.
Yeah.
We'd have to hide our knives and our shoelaces with her around,
Is this when he's chasing them with a drone?
Oh, dude, when he jumps on Matt's drone and he's flying after they toss him out of the car. Yeah, he's like flying. And it's almost like a scene like he reminded me of like in Return of the Jedi. Like he was on one of those like flying cars and they're knocking into him. And then he gets friggin' impaled by a stick. And you're like, oh my God. But the drunkard, for some reason, is driving. She looks back. They're like high-fiving. And then she crashes.
Yeah. Why is she the one? Like, wouldn't she be the last person you want driving? Like,
or why, after you see him get impaled, slow down a little bit?
Yeah.
Like,
no, okay. But you do have the one that's been drinking alcohol for like a day and a half. You know what? Let her drive. We'll get there safely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbelievable, man. But then we kind of talked about this earlier in the basement. Lila's talking she's talking to Ozzie. Ozzie can't talk back, but she gives him the saran wrap to put his guts back in. And then he kind of like tries to help her out with he's like pantomiming, like, 4-leaf clover, slingshot. She doesn't get it, but she does find the map that looks like a child drew it while waiting for their food at like a, Fridays or something. But she's like, oh, this is great. I can find this. But she keeps that, and then they find it later in the movie, which, what's funny? I don't know if you notice this, but when they're getting ready to leave, like, and Ozzie walks through the wall, she puts her hands up, and there's no map in her hand. So I'm like, she just drop it on the water? Because they didn't show her put it away. It was just out of nowhere. It was in her hand.
Yeah, you're right.
Cut
You're
back
right.
to her, and it was gone.
Well, I mean, let's be honest though. The gold is pretty easy to find.
Oh, very easy. To
like I mean, if it's been 25 years, the fact that it was so easy to find, like I doubt someone never came across it the entire time. Like,
especially that it was in an old car. People go into old cars. I remember being a kid walking in the woods, and you go into old stuff like that.
How can the leprechaun? He has all these powers. He can do but he can't find that gold. That's basically right under his nose. You think
he should have like a gold dar.
He should be able to smell gold.
Oh,
see,
that's right.
Okay,
that should be a trick to give him another power. He could smell it.
Well, he seems to have a lot of powers. The more gold he gets and kills. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, I know.
He really he has the force. He basically has the force.
Oh, dude, he does have when he's able to toss people and throw things
and objects and everything out. Yeah. He has the force. Okay.
Oh yeah, if you remember, the reason why they crashed was the girls
they were having a slap fight.
Yeah,
they were having a slap fight.
First of all, your friend's drunk and driving. Second of all, you have a leprechaun chasing you on a drone.
So you know what? What's the best thing to do right now? Let's just distract her as she's driving.
Yeah. And then they get out of the car and Meredith runs off. And her death is cool too, because I do love when the leprechaun does this logic. He goes, "Oh, don't worry, little lass. I won't lay a hand on you." And he didn't, right? He didn't lie.
Okay. First of all, her running was so ridiculous. The way she ran, like so stupid. But her death, yes, it was cool. But at the same time, why was she just standing there? Like she literally stood there for how long and just got like one after another. Like, and as she's getting hit by them, she's still not running. She just stayed there.
The one part was really that was kind of silly because all of them were hitting her, but the one that was in her mouth somehow, even though it was only the head of the sprinkler head, there was no like line to it, but it was still somehow from her mouth pumping out there was blood pumping through it. But no, it was so silly, but it was just, again, it's that whole the leprechaun not lying. He never lies. He'll say those lines like, "I'll never lay a hand on you," and he doesn't.
And listen, it's a creative kill. I mean, like it's such a silly kill, but like, who would think that sprinkler heads? You're gonna die by sprinkler heads. Just so dumb. Like it
was like the special effects guy were like, you know what, I can do this. Like just how good they looked flying at her. Obviously, they probably did it at some half speed or did like reverse shots, but they look like they were really flying at her. And no, it was pretty cool.
I'd be curious what the budget is because, I mean, the actors are kind of unknown. And so I would obviously everything had to go to, the special effects. And I mean, like I said, I mean, the looks of the movie looks just cheesy, but the special effects almost feel like they don't belong in this movie. They're too good to be in this movie.
Well, I think the movie's good. So I think they're equal. So you're perfect. It's like a good sandwich,
Let's not get crazy.
But so I some funny parts that are put in this movie is how about Matt when he's talking about like, "I'll stay behind. Don't worry, I'll stay behind." Like a great filmmaker, like Hitchcock or Werner Herzog. And I love when the girl's like, "Oh, Matt, that's so great of you." And then when she's walking away, she goes, "Who's Werner Herzog?" And she said it like 2 more times. And I'm like, oh my God.
First of all, if these are college students, which Matt looks like he's like in his 20s, like late 20s, he doesn't look like he's a college student. You're going to tell me, knowing what's going on, everything else, they're going to be that brave to like, there's no college students, especially college guys. They're the biggest jerks. They're going to leave the girls in 2 seconds. He's not going to go there and be all macho and no way. No one would.
Yeah. He went from, this is a small animal to Pied Piper, this douchebag. And he's like running at him. And then obviously the leprechaun messes that thing up. He turns it around on him. But how about the fact that he didn't move? It's not like the leprechaun did what he did to Lila at the end of the movie and stuck her to the wall with the metal, the perfect magnet. shaped
That was pretty
object
cool,
that was in
though.
the house.
Yeah.
It was very cool. But it's not like he was like stuck to the wall by like a branch or anything, like stuck to the tree. He was just standing there not moving, and the blades on the drone chopped his head off. So that's how he
Are there normally blades on a drone?
Well, that's how they fly.
Yeah, okay, but they're not sharp enough to cut someone's head off.
Well, I would hope not. That
yeah,
they're
okay,
not.
so I mean, but see, he's another one. He just stood there, just like Meredith did. They just stand there and wait for death to come to them.
Yeah, they were like crippled with fear, and his head, and he was just. And it looks so good because whatever dummy they made, you saw it just keep ripping. Like that's what was cool about this movie. And it was almost kind of shocking when you think about like when we cover the Friday the 13th movies, like especially like the 7th one, because that one got really killed by like the censors. Like, how did this get on TV? Like, I know, I feel like this wasn't on Sci-Fi Channel. It was a Sci-Fi production, but Lionsgate put it out. So I don't know if it was on Sci-Fi Channel in the way we watched it.
You think it was directed DVD?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. But I don't think that they could show this on cable.
That's what I'm saying. So like it wasn't on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was just maybe produced by Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a Sci-Fi version that they cut as soon as the blade gets close or something like that. And then they show the body in the ground like what they would do with the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, no, this definitely is like rated R movie based on the violence in it.
Oh,
so,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So he's dead. Then we cut to the girls are like, I know what to do. We can find the gold. I have this map. And then I love that she sort of alludes that I got some help. And I'm like, who'd you talk to? And she's like, oh, no, I just found this map by myself in the basement. Instead of saying like, oh, remember my crazy mom? Well, I'm talking to dead Ozzie, the taxi tow truck driver.
Yeah, but not for nothing. Again, you have a leprechaun chasing you. Would it be that far-fetched that you're talking to someone that's dead?
No, I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think they'd be totally cool with it. They'd be like, hey, you know what? That makes sense given what we're doing right now. But I do love that they find the gold. There's not much in it. And they're like, oh my God, there's probably more, right? And then I love that Rose is like, well, I found it. And she had like right on her in what's going on. She has this little tiny leather notebook with a list of the gold and how much she spent, how she bought everything. And she's like, but I think you had a GoFundMe again, a like an in joke. So in 10 years, maybe GoFundMe's not around. And then people are like, what's a GoFundMe?
Right.
It's like, I think you had a lot of people donate. It was just my mom and my aunt.
Don't you think though, this is something that she could have said a long time ago in the movie? Like, like knowing that, at the minute she found out the leprechaun's there and he's chasing him, like, isn't that something that, she would think like, wow, I found a pot of gold.
Yeah.
There's a leprechaun chasing us. Maybe we could save our lives and give him the gold that I found. No, she kept it to herself the entire time.
No, you're right. That should have been something that
should have been right away.
Should have revealed. But the one thing that I think was kind of great for her character, she seemed like she was like a shy, like nerdy girl. Like that's what Rose seemed as. But then I love that she's like, and yeah, she sold a nude for $20. $20 just to fund the project. So she's that committed to whatever. Cause I love that she's like, sorority's a lifetime. When in years past, I don't know if there's any other sororities anywhere, but I love that she's like, when we're looking for jobs, this will be like a lifetime thing that we're going to do. But she did all that, man. But then this is where they figure out the fool's gold. They looked at her necklace and they're like, oh, what happened when he touched that? And she's like, oh, he like kind of like he reacted to it in a bad thing. And it was like, boom, this is how we're going to get him.
I think that was very far like fetched far reaching to figure out how to get him, because I mean, unless I missed it, how big was his reaction when he touched it? Like, I don't remember. Like, did he like get shocked? Did he fall over? Did he like, what was the reaction?
Like he kind of like went back. Like, he was almost like he was like allergic to it. I'm trying to think of other movies that like a vampire, I know, but like a vampire, they could but they could sniff it. They know it's around there. Like, they don't have to touch it. Like, touching it burns them. Like, again, unless I missed it, I don't remember him really overreacting with that for them to think we found the way to kill him. I know he
think they were reaching.
Yeah, no, a little bit. No, I could see that. But I love the thing that their final plan that was kind of like, what are the chances that he was going to touch all the things around him?
So
like,
stupid.
what if he didn't hunch over and touch everything? I know he's little, but it's not like he couldn't have like jumped over those things, but he had to like put his palm on everything around him.
Yeah, I was questioning that too. Like, why didn't he just try to, like, was there like a electric barrier that was stopping him from doing it? Like a magnet? Like, yeah, that was
I don't
weird.
think so, because he walked into that. It's not like she moved everything around.
Right, that's what I mean. So like, why
afterwards,
couldn't he get out? Like, yeah, I mean, but again, we also have the pillow fight, which I still don't like. It's so stupid. Like that was their plan.
And now I know that was just, yeah. I know I didn't like that, but no, just the fact that the tampons. So, because I thought they were gonna, when they mentioned the iron, I thought they were gonna make a bunch of fool's gold, put it in there.
Right.
He was gonna touch it, then react. But I love that he starts counting it, and she's getting ready to leave, and because he has the power, he freezes her so she can't move, and he keeps counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he sees something underneath, and then he dumps it, and it's a bunch of tampons to prop it up.
That's kind of a weird like thing to put in there. Like I
know,
figure like
that
put
was
like
very
rocks,
weird.
make it heavy. So like, didn't he realize that it was so light? Because if it's a bunch of tampons, it's not gonna be that heavy. You know, like in that basket. Like you would think you put a bunch of rocks in there. You know,
And
make it like weigh it
they
down.
weren't in wrappers.
No.
So I don't know if I hope they weren't used, but they were just loose tampons. So they took the
basically,
packaging out.
I was gonna say they took the packaging out and then put it in there.
Yeah.
so dumb.
I'm just gonna put it with the packaging. Oh my God, Lila, are you an idiot? He's gonna know if we leave the packaging on.
Yeah. And I forget who said this to him, but someone called him a monster. Like, you're a monster. Like, he is a monster.
Yeah, he is.
Like she said it like you know, it's so like a human does something really bad and you call him, what a monster you're. Like she said it that way, not like you're, you know, but he is a monster. So like that line really doesn't, like, you know, he should have
hit
said
the nail right on the head of what he is. He is
right.
A monster.
Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah, and the fact that after he gets, like, when he figures out the tampons, he kind of pissed. And then he lurches over. He touches all of the iron, and he kind of like reacts to it. So he's like,
why was he touching all of them? Why was he touching? Knowing that one of them, you know, gave him that feeling, why would he go around and touch all of them?
Well, he didn't know. Oh, why? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, like the minute he touched one of them, yeah, you would think like, okay, you know, okay.
No, you're right. No, that made no sense because he touched the one and then he kept going around. So he
kept touching them all,
sort of like frozen. And then at the same time, Katie, which this made zero sense. I rewatched this part like a couple times. Why she didn't have to jump over her ex's dead body? I don't understand why she had to. And she slipped over his arm.
No. She was jumping over the arm. She landed in the body because she slipped on the arm.
She slipped on the arm. But why is she jumping over that? Walk around it.
No. And it really, there wasn't like, she could have just walked around.
That's what I mean. She was outside.
Yeah.
She could have walked around to get to the fuse box, which she fixed in like 2 seconds.
So dumb.
But it was funny with her face running into it and kind of getting angry at him. That's pretty funny.
And she said, "Am I having sex with you?"
Yeah.
Or something like that. She said, yeah. It's so stupid. Like, it's so dumb.
Oh, my God. At this time, Rose is getting, like, the mixture together. And this is where, holy shit, the Leprechaun uses Jennifer Aniston's voice.
It was almost, like, perfect. Like,
Scary
whoever
good.
did the voice. It really was. It really was.
Scary good. It reminded me of, like, Friends, like that era. Not like saying her voice changed that much.
100%.
Like, wow.
It did. And, you know, it's funny, like, you know, as, you know, you see that in so many movies and so many people fall for it. Like, you know, like, oh, yeah, you could bring her back. And, you know, like, she looked like she was going along with it. And then she just basically turned the tables on him. Like,
shove that thing in his mouth. And I love that yes.
Why couldn't he pull it out? Like,
I think he was so paralyzed because of the iron. I think it must react to do something to him because he was pulling out the trick of you. Let me use your dead crazy mom, who, you know, kind of I ruined her life from that one moment 25 years ago. So maybe that'll pull, tug at the heartstrings that you let me go. But when she shoves that into his mouth and he starts like shaking, she's like, enjoy the shamrock shake. I do love right afterwards. She's like, oh, I wish somebody was around to hear that line. That was pretty funny.
It must suck to be a leprechaun villain because you really there's too many things that can stop you. Really. I mean, if he's so petrified from the iron that he can't pull out a hose that's out of his mouth, I mean, that stinks.
It's not worth it, right? All I want is gold. That's all.
Why be a villain? Gold. Why be a villain then? Because 4-leaf clovers, like I said, 4-leaf clovers. You have the iron, and you have what was the third thing? There was 3 things. I thought it was iron. I don't know.
Iron. All right. I don't know what the third thing was, but I skipped this over before. But I really thought we were going to get a scene of him leaving and going to the cash for gold place. Because remember, Rose said, where's the gold? I gave it to the cash for gold. For some reason, I thought they were going to go there and try to get that all back to give to him rather than the tampon trick that they did. Because that would have been really funny, but I'm like, I don't know if they're going to bring other characters into this movie. But it's funny to see.
Well, that would have been funny if he, at the end of the movie, he ended up going there on his own.
Oh, well, the end of the movie is pretty funny. Well, his very end of the movie. But so then from there, this is where he does sort of have. Well, we saw the power that he had when he comes back, like when he's. Oh my god, dude! When he
so he's kind of like the Terminator thing that if you split, like if you melt him, or he can go back together if he's left alone for a little bit.
If he's not melted, yeah, that's what they said. Basically, like we have to melt him now. So they go, "Hey, Rose, you clean up by yourself. We're gonna go build a fire and take forever and chat while we're doing it. Why wouldn't they just all pick them up, throw them in the oven, turn the oven on?"
And not for nothing, like you just saw a bunch of death and we're like a major scene where the leprechaun and everybody's like, okay, it was like all right, it's all done. Like you're still gonna be traumatized by that. Like this is what your whole day has been traumatized, and everybody acting like normal.
Hey Rose, you got this? Yeah, I got this all by myself. That's fine.
So if you're a leprechaun and you get blown up and your guts are all over the place, is there a certain time frame before you could start going back together?
I don't know. I guess because there was everyone leaves.
Because it really it was pause, and all of a sudden now slowly then now you eventually see that.
Oh god, I loved all the little ones. It was so funny. Each little one on the couch, and just how they were kind of talking to each other. So he was kind of talking to himself in a way.
He was, and the fact it reminded me of the Snowman movie we watched. What was
Jack Frost? The little snowballs
with the snowballs.
His children.
But the fact that she's they're trying to kill them, stepping on them. She was trying to squash him like a bug.
Oh my god! And the way you thought, in a way, hey, maybe she's gonna survive. Maybe she's gonna. But because when she's sort of cleaning up, for some reason she's reaching to a top shelf. This is before they're even there, and she drops her golden shovel trophy.
No, she was clean. I think there was guts on there. There was guts hanging on. It was hanging on a book, so she was pulling the guts off and knocked down the shovel, the gardening.
She won a golden shovel award or something.
All right, so you immediately knew what was going to happen with that.
She was going to fall into it, and the way she fell into it, because I do when we talked about earlier when he says stop hammer time, he picks a little tiny leprechaun who he's probably 6 inches.
Probably that's generous. That's generous. I think that's generous. Yeah.
Whips a hammer at her. It sticks in her boob, the back of the hammer, and she at this point, I'm like, man, she's gonna die right here. It's gonna be a quick death because she falls on the ground. You're like, she's gonna be done. No, she gets up. She gives a little speech talking about I don't let people walk all over me, and she takes one step. They do the old let me use a broom handle to trip her because she doesn't lift her feet. And dude, that looks great when that thing goes through her head. Oh my god!
Well, the whole scene, they were throwing multiple things at her,
so cool.
Hit her in the face. There was there was. I mean, that was a funnier kill just because there were so many of them. Yeah, yeah.
And then the Lep is on fire after this. He's honestly his lines when he's back together. Well, he's on fire in a few scenes. Yeah,
but he's screaming at first because he's on fire. And then he's walking around. on fire for like the next like 5 minutes.
Casually, yeah. Because just before she lights him up, just before she lights him on fire, this is when he tosses Katie, and you see that he has like a little bit more power because the gold's like in the room. But yeah, when he is on fire, he says, "How is that for energy efficient?" And he goes, "And they say there's no global warming." Like he has all these lines about it. And we get them go through the basement, which you're like, this is so dumb. But remember earlier, they snuck out of the basement window to survive. Katie goes first, Lila goes second, and he tries to one more time. He's like, let me throw this Hail Mary. Let me use the mom's voice one more time. And she uses a limerick on him.
Was it really a limerick, though?
Eat a dick, ass baggins.
What is that? What is that? Like, I don't understand. One, it didn't rhyme at all. And like, what's an ass baggins?
I don't know what an ass baggins is. I thought a limerick was 5-7. Oh no, that's a haiku is 5-7-5. I don't know what a limerick is.
No, a limerick is a rhyming. I think it's a rhyming thing. But the only thing I was thinking of is Baggins is a dwarf in
Frodo
Lord of the
Baggins.
Rings.
Yeah.
So it was that a dwarf? Was that a Hobbit joke?
A Hobbit? Yeah, maybe a Hobbit joke.
Okay. All right.
Oh man. So yeah, and then from there we get the house exploding. So I guess there was propane in the house or gas in the house that was so far off the grid that they lived off the grid. Yeah. I guess. But yeah, exploded. And Lyndon told me like they built that house in South Africa and they exploded that house. And that was made to match the original movie. But yeah, dude. That's it.
And then you see Chubbs again. And you see Chubbs again.
He waves people.
Or only she sees Chubbs again.
A little goodbye, and then he fades away. Because he did what he needed to do, which I don't think he really helped too much.
I was going to say, what did he do? He didn't do anything.
He was like emotional support for her.
If he was like, a zombie ghost, why didn't he help her like fight the leprechaun?
That would have been good if he came in and did something, like distracted it, and like if the leprechaun said like a little funny line in him and distracted him long enough for Katie or Lila to do something. That'd be good.
Like he should have been the one to kill it so he could redeem himself.
That'd be good.
Like so yeah. Okay.
Get away from my daughter.
So okay, so then explain the last scene to me because.
Wait, which last scene? The Larimore University like official showing up and not police, and his first line saying, "What the hell happened here?" Not, "Hey, are you guys okay?" Or what about the other people? Are everybody else okay?
It was a major fire in that house. Like it was like a major fire and explosion. Yeah, and explosion. And again, he didn't look that concerned at all. And these two girls that barely made it out alive are still pretty calm about the whole situation.
Very calm, and not mentioning like, "Hey, our friends are here." It'd be really important if we contact their families or get somebody here.
And now this is where she hurts the trapezius too.
Her trapezius, yes. But in the ruins of the house, we see a hat. So the hat's survived, and the very end of the movie, we have Leprechaun hitchhiking. So this is what makes no sense because the house is only an hour from Bismarck where the university is. So I guess if Lyndon talked about, possible sequel, which I hope they do. And I'm sure COVID put a damper on it because this movie came out in 2018. So COVID was only.
So you're telling me he'll be on campus now?
I would love that, dude. Like ghoulies go to college, like Lep goes to college. Why not?
Okay. So, but why? So, if the gold's there, first of all, is this hat like, again, I'm going back to the snowman, like as long as the hat's there, you're always going to be alive? Oh
yeah. Maybe it's like Frosty. Yeah.
For like Frosty. Okay. Yeah. And so why is he leaving the area if he knows the gold's there and his only, like he has no more power at this point. So he has to hitchhike.
Yeah. I guess. And now that
not for nothing. The guy that picks him up, he didn't realize it's a
no.
I mean, like, he goes, yeah, get in the back with the chickens. I mean, really? Like, it's so ridiculous.
What do you think? The guy who drives the truck for Chuck's Chickens, do you think he is going to judge like who he's going to pick up or not?
I just feel there's a lot of people that saw a leprechaun in this movie, and their reaction is not what I would expect for anyone seeing a leprechaun.
I agree. 100%. Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, so... I mean, to me, seeing a leprechaun would be like seeing an alien walking around.
Yeah.
I think the reaction would pretty much be the same.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I would freak out.
Okay.
Like I would have something to deal with, especially after it spoke too.
Yeah.
And killed my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend or my girlfriend or something. I would do something, but everybody's very calm.
Sure.
Sure.
But again, the whole movie they're like this. It's just
Yeah.
it's just like, again, that's part of the acting. I feel like the acting was not, outside of Chubbs and Lyndon. The acting wasn't that good.
Okay, so what you're saying is now, because that was Leprechaun Returns, would you tell somebody, hey, check this?
What
video
I
out?
would say is, if I would say, go to YouTube and type in Leprechaun Returns kills and watch that.
Okay.
To sit through the movie to me, it is not worth it. I don't think the movie it took me a long time to watch it. But the kills are definitely worth watching. So I bet you there's a 15-minute clip on YouTube of Leprechaun Returns and all the kills. And I would say just watch that. And you'll have enough of this movie. That's my call.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say definitely, if you like Leprechaun, I would say you have to check this movie out, because I think this is the best sequel. Like, I like 2. 3 is, I think 3's still good. 4, they jumped the shark going into space. The Hood ones are so comical and they're so over the top, but this one's good. Like Lyndon, like Jamie said, great job. As so hard. Like I said to Lyndon, I was not joking, just because I was chatting with him. I wasn't like kissing his ass, but it is so hard when you think of people that are going to be Jason. Obviously, there's a walk to it. Like there's things that have to do, mannerisms for even Michael. Some people can be too stiff. There's all these things that you go into it, but the advantage they have, they never have to talk. That's why it'd be impossible to be I would never think, like, I never watched the new Nightmare on Elm Street with Kelly Leak.
Yeah.
I never watched it. I think I watched a few minutes of it. I shut it off. So I don't know what his voice is compared to Robert if he tried his own thing.
No, it's a whole different take on it.
It's very big on the molestation, like weird. Like,
Well, no, not even that. Like, he looks like a burnt victim.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't so like a real human burnt, like, so it's a little different. And again, especially I'm going to give tons of credit to Lyndon, because I know Warwick Davis is like an icon, right? He's played so many iconic roles, and I would assume the Leprechaun junkies that love the movie, that really like are into this franchise, they have a special place for Warwick. He plays that leprechaun in all the movies. So it's like you have, it's hard to say Jason or because they don't talk, but it's like if you had the Joker, you have Heath Ledger, replacing, Jack Nicholson. Those are big shoes to fill.
Oh, yeah.
You have someone that's iconic, but to me, Lyndon did a great job. And the only concern I have is you're telling me this is the second best one, and there's like 5 of them. I can only imagine how bad the other ones are if you think this is the second best one.
Well, I think this is the best sequel. Easy.
Oh, my
hands
goodness.
down.
Okay.
Well,
right.
Any Leprechaun fans, if you've seen this one or seen the others, tell us your ranking. Follow us on social media at Sequels Only, or drop me an email at doug@sequelsonly.com.
Why do I feel that another Leprechaun movie is going to be in the future?
Oh, I want the 4th one. We had somebody lined up for the 4th one, and then they flaked. But that almost happened a few years ago, so maybe we'll have to revisit that. But so wow. So next up, it's going to be the first time we're going to be dipping our toes in the Terminator franchise. We're going to be covering Terminator Genisys. And for it, I talked with Griff Furst, who in this movie, he plays Agent Burke. But when Griff isn't acting, which he has like over 80 credits over his 20 plus years of acting, he's directing, producing, writing. Griff has directed a lot of Sci-Fi Channel movies. He's done like Lake Placid 3, Swamp Shark, and he had one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard in my life that involves our pal D.B. Sweeney and one of the greatest hitters of all time, Wade Boggs, which insane story. And then he recently produced a movie that you got to check out. It's called Devil's Peak. Stars Robin Wright Penn, Billy Bob Thornton, and the man Kelly Leak, who we just talked about, Jackie Earle Haley So yeah, make sure you check that out. We talked about it with, when it comes to Griff, growing up with a big time Hollywood dad and Stephen Furst, which, is Flounder and Animal House. He talked about, really hanging out as a young kid on the set of St. Elsewhere and the movie Dream Team, which me and Jamie love. So he talked about that a little bit. And we also talked about how to actually get a movie made. So we talked about like, hey, if you liked a book, how do you option that? So he told me some cool scenarios, especially Devil's Peak was a book and a few other ones that he worked on. Talked about how you get licensing for sequels and a lot of other stuff. Griff was cool. It was a great chat. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.